RiverBender.com's live coverage of today's game is brought to you by Jack Schmidt Chevrolet, the #1 GM certified dealer in Southern Illinois. Olin Community Credit Union, exceeding member expectations since 1934. Tycon Builders, 25 years of quality construction services. Alton Memorial Hospital, the best health care close to home. United Methodist Village, where living is easy. Tom Lane State Farm, your good neighbor agent in the Riverbend. Roberts Ford, the value store since 1949. Weber Granite City Chevrolet, Buy American. Gerard Fisher, American Family Insurance, all your protection under one roof.
How about a nice hand for the Shells Band, the cheerleaders, and the dance team? I'd like to welcome everyone to Charles Rage Field, home of your Roxana Shells. We are in week 8 of the high school football season. Tonight's opponent for the Shells are the Marquette Explorers. I'd like to welcome Marquette this evening.
There's a long pass. It looks like it's going to be overthrown. Oh, the receiver dashes under the ball and makes the catch. Touchdown!
Where did he get that extra burst of speed? That off-season training really paid off.
Alton Memorial Hospital's Human Motion Institute Sports Performance helps athletes maximize their potential and improve their game. With sports performance training, you'll leap higher, run faster, and throw farther. Learn more at altonmemorialhospital.org. Human Motion Institute Sports Performance, building better athletes.
The more your life changes, the more your insurance needs change. I'm Gerard Fisher of American Family Insurance. In just minutes, I can conduct a free personal insurance review to help you determine how much and what type of coverage is right for you, with no costly gaps or overlaps. Interested? Call me, Gerard Fisher of American Family Insurance, today at 466-7062.
American Family Insurance.
This will be the first game of a big football weekend here on the Big Z. The Explorers and the Shells from the South Central Conference here tonight. And then that'll be followed by Civic Memorial in Jerseyville, the second game of our broadcast doubleheader this evening. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock at Sports Talk with Sports Director Brent Berkman, scores, highlights, coaches' interviews, and more. Then at noon tomorrow, Greenville and East Alton Wood River from the South Central Conference, a replay of tonight's game. At 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, it's Alton and Belleville West. We'll have that broadcast for you as well. And then at 5:30 tomorrow evening, pregame for Illinois at Indiana with the opening kickoff set for 6 o'clock. So if you're interested in high school and college football involving the local teams, you're in the right spot. Z1570 radio for the Riverbend, WBGZ Alton. It's 7 o'clock, and glad you're tuned in for this one between Roxana and Marquette. When we return, the opening kickoff, you're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
Supplier Pricing Plus at the East Side's newest and one of the largest Chevy dealerships, Jack Schmidt Chevy of Wood River, with 14 acres of selection and more selection. Now all with Supplier Pricing Plus. Save $8,165 on a new 09 half-ton Silverado. A new 09 Malibu LS, just $18,600. Hit the road with Jack Schmidt, with over 14 acres of service, selection, and savings.
Hit the road with Jack
Schmidt Chevy,
Jack Schmidt.
Wood River, Illinois.
Life is busy, and that's a good thing. Olin Community Credit Union helps me keep up with convenient checking services like free online banking and bill pay, 5 area locations, and free ATMs. They even provide extra deposit insurance to keep my money safe and sound. I know I can count on them, and that helps me give 100% to the people who are counting on me. Call Olin Community Credit Union today or visit them online at olincreditunion.org. Trust me, you'll be glad you did.
Ryan Touche will kick it away for the Roxana Shells. Cecil Brimage and Dalton Holm back deep for the Explorers. A short kick touched by one of the upmen, picked up by Holm at the 20, and he's brought down almost immediately. And so a good kickoff there for the Shells as they kicked it short. Holm came up, took it in, and the Shell defenders were there to put him down at the 21.
Well, that's exactly how the Shells want to start this game off, Sam. They had good coverage on that kick, and the Marquette Explorers got nothing on that return.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Explorers from their own 21-yard line to get this game underway. And Keenan Everlin, the senior quarterback, brings the team to the line of scrimmage. He sends 2 receivers wide to the right side. Derek Sterrett out there along with Dalton Holm. And the pitch back is to Cecil Brimage trying to sweep that right side. Brimage has difficulty turning the corner and might have gotten a yard, maybe 2, but not much more. And that time the Explorers came out in a set we haven't seen before. It'll be 2nd down and about 9 for Marquette.
Yeah, that was well played by the Roxana defense. Brimage, who we've seen do all kinds of things out on the field, he was only able to pick up 2 on that, and that was just a straight sweep with the Explorers.
2nd and 8 Explorers from their own 23-yard line. Receivers left and right. Miller wide left, Sterrett wide right. Double wing formation. They put Brimage in motion to the left side and give it right up the middle to the fullback. That's Etley, and he has good yardage, 1st down yardage, out across the 35 to the 37-yard line. And a gain of 14 on that carry and a 1st down for Marquette. Well, not quite 14, but nonetheless a 1st down.
It was a good run by Utley. That was the midline option that Marquette runs, where they dive the fullback right up over the center, and the quarterback reads that if it's open, he gives to the fullback. If it's not open, he'll pull it out. And lately, Eberlin's been doing a great job running that veer offense.
First and 10, Marquette from their own 36. Brimage in motion to the left side, and now they run the option to the left side. Eberlin tries to turn the corner now, finally pitches it back, and it's Brimage with the football out across the 45 to the 47-yard line and brought down there. Actually a bad break for the Shells and good improvisation by Eberlin, who really probably shouldn't have pitched that ball, but instead it turns into an 11-yard gain for Marquette.
Well, and he absolutely should not have pitched it, but he came out looking, smelling like a rose that time, in that he did get rid of it. He found Brimage, pitched it out to him, even though he was wrapped up, and Brimage was able to turn that into a first down.
The defender for the Shells, who made such a good play, was Jacob Carlisle, and he all but had Eberlin wrapped up. First and 10 Explorers from their own 46. Hullum in motion to the left side. Now they drop the snap, and Eberlin covers it back at the 44. So a loss of a few on that play, as Eberlin had difficulty with the snap and did the wise thing, just covered the football.
Yeah, sometimes what you'll see is kids, even in college, now and then in the pros too, they'll make the mistake of trying to reach down and pick that ball up once you've dropped it, and that's a big mistake. You want to fall on that and try to regroup for the next play. And that's what Eberlin did that time. That was wise of him to fall on that ball.
Second down and 12, Marquette from their own 44. It's Sterrett wide right, Miller wide left, double wing formation. Hullum in motion to the right side, and back to throw is Eberlin. He looks down the right sideline, he's got Sterrett wide open, hits him at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Derek Sterrett.
I tell you what, Sam, that's something we haven't seen much of this year. That's Marquette throwing downfield, and it couldn't have been a better pass by Eberlin. Sterrett went streaking down the field. I don't think we've seen Sterrett run anything but that slant in all year long, but this time he went streaking down the field, and Eberlin hit him right in stride. Touchdown, Marquette.
A 56-yard touchdown pass from Eberlin to Sterrett. The Explorers break on top. It comes with 9:29 remaining in the first quarter, and it appears Marquette will go for two. You're never quite sure with the Explorers. Sometimes they kick it with Hullum, and other times they go for two, and they'll go for two right here. Eberlin sets the team. Puts Hullum in motion to the right side, and Eberlin takes it to the right side and just walks in for the two-point conversion. So 9:29 remaining first quarter. It's Marquette 8, Roxana nothing. You're listening to C1570 Radio Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're now approaching the island of Bora Bora. Enjoy your stay.
This beautiful home contains 8 bedrooms, 2 family rooms, and a private jacuzzi just off the master bedroom.
Hey, anybody up for a cruise in my sweet boat?
What are you going to do with all the money you save from buying your car at Roberts Motors?
Roberts Motors in Alton or online at RiverBender.com.
Honey, who does our car insurance?
State Farm.
And what about our house?
State Farm, too.
And what about our life insurance?
Why do you ask?
Well, I've got something to tell you.
Bringing new life into the world is one of many great reasons to talk about life insurance. So contact your State Farm agent today. They'll help you choose the right coverage.
Contact Tom Lane to discuss all of your life insurance needs at 377-8912 across from Gino's 140 Club in Bethalto.
So it was a 79-yard touchdown drive for the Marquette Explorers, capped off with a 56-yard touchdown pass from Keenan Eberlin to Derek Sterrett. Marquette leads at 8-0, and Nick Schrank will kick it away. A high end-over-end kick. Aiming towards the right sideline. It will not go out of bounds. The Shells try to pick it up. Finally, they do, and immediately the return man is swarmed under by the Explorers. And if Schrank was trying to pin that one against the sideline, he did a good job. I thought it was going to roll out of bounds, but did not. And then the Shells had to pick it up, had some difficulty, and the Explorers brought him down right away at about the 21 or 22-yard line.
Well, the man who tried to pick it up made that mistake we were talking about, where he bent over and tried to pick it up, and he got hit right away. Luckily, another Shell was there to pick up that ball. Otherwise, Marquette would have been in business again.
The Shells start first and 10 from their own 22. The quarterback, Ryan Touche, leads them to the line of scrimmage. Receivers left and right, the backs in the eye behind Touche. And he gives it to the tailback. Second man through, big hole right up the middle. First down yardage and then some, all the way out to the 34-yard line. A gain of 12 on that carry. And that was Drew Brumley.
And that's what I was watching before the game in their pregame warm-ups. The Shells looked very good on offense in the pregame. Of course, there was no defense out there, but they've got some athleticism. And I tell you what, they've got a fullback back there that this kid is big, Donnie Spann. He's let's see, number 34. It doesn't list on the program how big he is. He's a big kid.
1st and 10 Shells from their own 34. They give it to Spann, and Spann dives over the line of scrimmage and picks up a couple right across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Call that a gain of 2.
2nd down and 7.
The Shells' first possession of the evening after the Explorers took the opening kickoff and drove 79 yards. You know, Marquette did not complete a pass all last week against the Oilers. They tried, but they did not. First pass attempt here tonight, a 56-yard touchdown pass.
Well, and that pass caught everybody by surprise in the stands and on the field because Marquette doesn't normally throw downfield like that.
Now the pitch back, trying to sweep to left side, and out to the 40-yard line goes the ball carrier.
25.
That was Brandon West. And West picked up about 6 on the play. Well, and he picked up 4 on that carry.
And West is one of these sophomores I was talking about who last year I watched as a freshman, and he was very, very good on the field last year as a freshman. On the freshman field, he did not play varsity last year, but this year as a varsity player, he looks like he's got a lot of potential.
3rd and 4 Shells from their own 40-yard line. Receivers left and right, the backs of the eye, and now some movement at the line of scrimmage. The Explorers moved, and then the Shells moved. And I think it's going to be procedure against the Shells. It is. Marquette's defense, I think, shifted over onto the gaps. And when they did, it looked like somebody on the right side of the line of scrimmage jumped with them.
Marquette's defense does that a lot where they shift and they move around, they jump around, they even line up a couple yards off the ball and take a full step towards the defense, towards the offense, I'm sorry. And what they're trying to do is get that offense to jump. That's exactly what the Roxana offense did that time. They jumped and they got moved back 5 yards forward.
And you'll see Marquette do it a lot on 3rd and short. That 5-yard walk-off makes it 3rd and 8 now for the Shells. And Touche rolls to his right. He wants to throw. Now he's going to run with it. Oh, and he's tripped up and comes down at the 40-yard line. He picked up about 4 on the carry. But I don't know if somebody got him by the tip of his toe or if he just tripped over something. They gave him a good spot out to the 42. So it was a gain of 6, and it's 4th and 2 Shells.
Well, Sam, I actually think he tripped over his own feet on that. He had a lot of running room. He would have no doubt gotten the first down had he not tripped. And that was unfortunate for the Shells. But here's a situation where the Shells feel they have nothing to lose, and they're going for it.
4th and 2 from their own 42-yard line. Here in the first quarter, the Explorers shift again. Oh, now Marquette jumps into the neutral zone, and the Explorers outsmarted themselves. That time, Derek Starrett went into the neutral zone, and that'll cost the Explorers 5 and give the Shells a first down.
And you know, Sam, everybody and their mother knew that the Shells were going to try to pull Marquette off. And Marquette's over there jumping around like we said they would, and why the defensive end for Marquette jumped into that neutral zone, I don't know, and he doesn't know right now, but it did give Roxana a first down.
Midway through the first quarter, Marquette leading 8-0. 1st and 10 Roxana from their own 47-yard line. Receivers left and right. The backs in the eye behind Ryan Touche. Ryan Touche looks over the defense. Sets the team, takes a snap, and gives it to his big fullback Spann, and Spann rolls out across the midfield stripe and takes it down to the Marquette 49-yard line, a gain of about 4 on that carry.
You know, Sam, Marquette should be used to facing a big back. Last week, Wood River had a big back that they had a tough time with the first half. Second half, they did much better, but this Spann kid is a big kid. I'd be anxious to see just how big he is, but he's got to go at least probably 195.
2nd down and 6, Roxana at the Marquette 49-yard line. Receiver to the left side, backs in the eye, and the give this time to the tailback, following that fullback, and he picks up a yard as he tried to turn that right corner. That play was designed off tackle, and running back tried to kick it to the outside. On the carry was 28, Cody Yerkes. Picked up a yard. And so now a 3rd down play facing the Shells. 3rd and 5 at the Marquette 48-yard line. This time they have receivers to both sides of the field. Touche bends under center and takes a snap and drops to throw. He rolls to his left under pressure. He lets it go downfield. He's got his man. First down and then some. Inside the Marquette 40 down to the 35-yard line goes the receiver, Donnie Spann. Spann came out of the backfield and caught that pass and picked up about 13 on the completion.
And that was a good call by Coach Pat Keith. That's a play Marquette used to run time and time again. And back when Pat Keith played for Marquette, I know he was familiar with that, although he played tight end. But that's just simply sending the fullback through. And oftentimes the defense does not account for him. He goes out into the flat for a pass. Sure enough, it was wide open. They got a first down.
The 3rd first down of this drive for the Shells. 1st and 10 at the Marquette 35-yard line. Receivers left and right. The backs in the eye. Touche rolls to his right. He's going to run with it. He's at the 35, hit by Cecil Brimage and spun down. And Touche picked up a couple. Looked like he was going to get more, but the sure tackling Cecil Brimage brought him down immediately.
Well, and Brimage came up from his safety position, and as you said, he's a pretty sure tackler. We say it every week. He's not a very big kid, but he plays very big. And he came up and stopped Touche to a 2-yard gain. I still think, Sam, that Roxana will have the most success if they go up in the air, because in the games we've seen against Marquette, they've proven most susceptible to the pass.
2nd down and 7, the long 7 for the Shells at the Marquette 33, and here's the give right up the middle. That's the fullback. And Spann takes it inside the 30 down to the Marquette 29-yard line. And a nice gainer on that carry. A gain of about 4, and it's going to be 3rd and 4 for the Shells.
Yeah, look for a short pass in the flat again that Coach Keith showed us a couple plays ago.
Well, Touche is dangerous because on every design pass play tonight, they roll him out, and he's got some speed. So he has that run-pass option. Let's see if he rolls this time. The Marquette defense shifts. This time they give it to the tailback, and he's going to be stacked up after a short gain. And Jacob Carlisle picked up a couple. He needed 4. He got 3, and it's going to be 4th and 1.
Yeah, it's 4th and a short one. And obviously, if the Shells went for it earlier, down here they're going to go for it for sure. What they'll do is go on a long count, try to pull Marquette off again. If that doesn't work, they'll then probably just go ahead and give it to the fullback. As big as Spann is, he can fall for the first down.
4th and 1 Shells at the Marquette 26-yard line. Receivers left and right. The backs in the eye behind Touche. Quick snap. He gives it to Spann, and he's stacked up, but he just keeps driving and picks up 2 when he only needed 1. The 4th first down of this drive for the Shells.
Well, and Sam, as we watch this drive, how do you account for the fact that the Shells have not scored since the first quarter of the first game, where they're that weak on offense that they just cannot score?
Now the Explorers want a timeout. It comes with 2:45 remaining in the first quarter. It's Marquette 8, Roxana nothing. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
When you use Tycon Builders for any project, no matter how big or small, they don't decide when the job is finished. You do. They won't even accept final payment for your project until you're 100% satisfied. Tycon Builders is a locally owned and operated company, so when they work on a home, they're working on the home of a neighbor, and they want to make sure their neighbors are happy. For home improvements, small or large, call Tycon Builders for a free estimate. 465-7335. Tycon Builders. Cross the bridge to quality.
Make life easy for yourself at the United Methodist Village.
With no more stairs and no more home upkeep in a spacious apartment or villa home, with no upfront endowment and just one monthly fee, you stay in control of your finances. Now that's easy and smart. Countryside living that is fun, neighborly, and only minutes from the Clark Bridge. The United Methodist Village, where living is easy.
I only wish I'd have moved here sooner.
For the Marquette Explorers, this game, this first quarter has the feel of last week's game against the Oilers, which the Explorers won going away with a big second half, but Marquette allowed the Oilers, who were winless, to hang around in the first half, and they've allowed the Shells to convert first down after first down. 1st and 10, Roxana. at the Marquette 19-yard line. Touche back to throw. Sats lets it go deep down the right sideline. He's got a man and overshot him by about a yard. He had a man open at the pylon at the goal line, and the intended receiver was Cody Yerkes. He had a step on the Marquette defender, but Touche overled him by about a yard.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, though, Sam, it would have taken a perfect pass. The kid did have a step on the Marquette defense, but it would have taken a perfect pass, and as you said, he missed him by about a yard.
The line of scrimmage is the Marquette 22, let's call it. 2nd and 10 Shells. Here's the give to the second man through. A nice hole there, and the running back just keeps driving and takes it all the way down to the Marquette 15-yard line. On the carry for the Shells was number 24, Jacob Carlisle, on a nice run there. First of all, he had a nice hole, and then he carried 3 tacklers with him and picked up 8.
Yeah, 8, almost 9. There was a nice run, and like I keep saying, I mean, the Shells, they don't look bad at all on offense, so I still cannot figure out their past games, what they were doing.
3rd and a short 2 for the Shells just outside the Marquette 15-yard line. The backs in the eye, double tight now, and here is the give, and that's Carlisle again. He's got the first down. Then he meets Cecil Brimage, and he runs Brimage over and powers his way down to the 5-yard line. That was a gain of 10 and another first down for the Shells. What a run by Carlisle.
Yeah, good run by Carlisle, and the bad thing for Marquette is Brimage is still laying down on the field.
Well, Brimage met Carlisle and kind of stood him up, and then Carlisle just ran Brimage over, and Brimage is down and being attended to. So they stopped the clock with 1:54 remaining here in the first quarter. It's 1st and goal Shells at the Marquette 5-yard line. Marquette leading at 8-0. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
Hi, George Weber. Weber Chevrolet's year-end clearance is underway, making now a great time to save money when you buy and when you drive. Through the end of the month, we are offering the highest sales incentives of the year. And no matter what you hear in the media, believe me, our financing is still as available and aggressive as it's ever been, if not more. Combine that with our great incentives and you have the lowest payments of the year. And that's just the start of the great values at Weber Chevrolet in Granite City, Illinois. Or check us out on the web at WeberGC.com.
There's a long pass. It looks like it's going to be overthrown. Oh, the receiver dashes under the ball and makes the catch. Touchdown!
Where did he get that extra burst of speed? That off-season training really paid off.
Alton Memorial Hospital's Human Motion Institute Sports Performance helps athletes maximize their potential and improve their game. With sports performance training, you'll leap higher, run faster, and throw farther. Learn more at altonmemorialhospital.org. Human Motion Institute Sports Performance, building better athletes.
Cecil Brimage trotted off, looking just fine. 1st and goal Shells at the Marquette 5-yard line.
Well, the Shell fans are on the edge of their seats because they're about to see something they haven't seen since the first quarter of the first game.
Here is the give to Carlisle, and he walks in for the touchdown. Jacob Carlisle from 5 yards out, and the Shells put together a 78-yard touchdown drive, and they're within a 2-point conversion of tying the game. It's their first touchdown since the first quarter of the first game of the season, and here we are in week 8.
And Sam, I told you the Roxana fans, they were on the edge of their seats, and now they are standing up and down, and they are excited.
And now the Shells, they'll attempt to kick the extra point, but I don't think they have enough players out there. Well, they haven't done this since the first week of the season, so nobody knows who's supposed to be out there for the extra point. So the Shells take a timeout. We will too. 1:49 remaining. Marquette 8, Roxana 6. The extra point attempt pending. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
To-do lists rarely need more to do. So, at American Family, we offer a variety of products at affordable prices with the convenience of a single agent. From auto and homeowners to business and life insurance. This is Gerard Fisher with American Family Insurance. Give me a call at 466-7062.
American Family Insurance.
Supplier Pricing Plus at the East Side's newest and one of the largest Chevy dealerships, Jack Schmidt Chevy of Wood River, with 14 acres of selection and more selection. Now all with Supplier Pricing Plus. Save $8,165 on a new 09 half-ton Silverado. A new 09 Malibu LS, just $18,600. Hit the road with Jack Schmidt, with over 14 acres of service, selection, and savings. Hit the road with Jack Schmidt Chevy, Wood River, Illinois.
The Shells will go for two and try to tie this ball game. Touche brings the team to the line of scrimmage. Bends under center, turns and gives it to Span, and Span keeps powering towards the goal line, and he did not get there. He came up just shy, and so with 1:49 remaining in the first quarter, Marquette a 79-yard touchdown drive to open the game. Roxana answers with a 78-yard touchdown drive. The difference, the two-point conversion attempts, and Marquette leads at 8-6. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
Life is busy, and that's a good thing. Olin Community Credit Union helps me keep up with convenient checking services like free online banking and bill pay, 5 area locations, and free ATMs. They even provide extra deposit insurance to keep my money safe and sound. I know I can count on them, and that helps me give 100% to the people who are counting on me. Call Olin Community Credit Union today or visit them online at olincreditunion.org. Trust me, you'll be glad you did.
What do I have to do to sell you a car?
Roberts Motors, easy to get to, just off Highway 67 or Highway 3 in Alton.
With Mike Slaughter, Sam Stem back in Roxana, where the Shells have scored for the first time since the first quarter of Week 1. And here we are in Week 8. So the Shells will do something they haven't done a lot this year either, and that's kick off. And they put a line drive down the right sideline, and Dalton Holm goes back and picks it up at his own 9. Holm running across the field, crosses the 10, and comes up just shy of the 15-yard line before he's hammered down by the Shells. And Roxana is playing inspired football tonight.
Sam, they're playing very inspired football, and right now they've got a big bounce in their step on the sidelines. They're excited right now. And again, it is their homecoming. That always gets teams fired up. But right now they're playing inspired ball, and Marquette's a little bit deflated because, again, they gave up a score to Roxana, and no one's done that since the first quarter, as you've said repeatedly.
First quarter of the first game.
First game.
That's right.
Yes.
Receivers left and right. Double wing formation, Keenan Eberlin for the Explorers from their own 15. Brimage in motion to the left side, and they give it to Etley, the fullback, and he's stacked up after a short gain. He gained a yard and no more.
Well, all week long, Sam, I kept telling the Marquette boys, you better not be looking past Roxana, because when you face a winless team, it's easy to look past somebody, especially someone who's not scored very much all season long. And I'm not saying they have. Marquette's only had the ball once and they scored, but they did allow Roxana to drive right down the field and score.
Well, the Explorer defense did what they've done all season long. They allowed Roxana to have some big 3rd and 4th down conversions en route to that 78-yard touchdown drive. 2nd and 9, Explorers to give to Brimage right up the middle, and Cecil Brimage is hit and brought down. I'll tell you what, these Shells, some of these guys aren't very big, but boy, they play big, don't they? They hit hard.
They do. They're playing a very good game right now, and I know it's very early in the game, and we were saying the same thing last week about Wood River, but right now, as I said, Roxana is one fired-up team.
Brimage picked up 3, and it's going to be 3rd and 6 for the Explorers from their own 18-yard line. They send Sterrett wide right, Miller wide left. Double wing formation, Eberlin under center, puts Holm in motion to the right side, and they run the option to the right side. Eberlin tries to turn it upfield, and there's not much there. He takes it out to the 20, but no further. Picked up 2, maybe 3 on the carry. But Marquette will be in a punting situation here.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, Roxana has done a good job. Their coaching staff did a very good job of preparing for this game because they're anticipating what Marquette's going to do. They missed one on that pass last series, but they're sure anticipating what Marquette's going to run on offense.
That's the end of the first quarter. The score, Marquette 8, Roxana 6. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
So we'll retire to the mountains.
Oh, but I love the ocean.
There are places you want to get to in life, like retirement. And now your State Farm agent can help guide you with the free State Farm Insurance and Financial Review to prioritize your needs and help you plan a roadmap for your financial future.
Come on, nothing beats pine trees.
Except for palm trees.
Call and schedule yours today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Contact Tom Lane to lay out your roadmap to retirement today at 377-8912 across from Gino's 140 Club in Bethalto.
When you use Tycon Builders for any project, no matter how big or small, they don't decide when the job is finished, you do. They won't even accept final payment for your project until you're 100% satisfied. Tycon Builders is a locally owned and operated company, so when they work on a home, they're working on the home of a neighbor, and they want to make sure their neighbors are happy. For home improvements, small or large, call Tycon Builders for a free estimate. 465-7335. Tycon Builders. Cross the bridge to quality.
Back at Charles Rage Field, 4th and a long 2 for the Explorers from their own 21-yard line. Dalton Hall back in punt formation. Stays back inside his own 10-yard line. And Holm gets a good snap and gets the kick away. It's a high end-over-end kick. The Shells will let it hit. He takes a Marquette hop at midfield. Down inside the 40 of Roxana, down to the 39-yard line, and that's where the Shells will take over 1st and 10. And their offense will take the field brimming with confidence.
I mean, with a lot of confidence right now. You're right. This is again, we keep on harping on the fact they've scored so little, but they're coming out here as a team that just scored last series, and now they think they can do it again.
That was a 78-yard touchdown drive they put together. 5 first downs along the way. So it was not a cheap one.
No. It was really a pretty drive.
1st and 10 Shells, just shy of their own 39. The backs in the eye with a wing to the left. Ryan Touche under center. Turns, gives it to the second man through, and good yardage out across the 45 to the 46-yard line. And a gain of 7 on that carry for Drew Brumley. And I'll tell you what, that offensive line of the Shells is opening some holes.
The offensive line's doing a good job, and the lead blocker, the fullback Span is doing a great job. And right now, the Shells have found something. They're getting 6 and 7 yards on that single lead.
2nd and 3 Shells from their own 46. Again, the I formation with a wing to the left. Touche turns, gives it again to the second man through. This time he's hit behind the line, breaks a couple of tackles, stays on his feet. 1st down yardage to the Marquette 45 before he's thrown down. Jacob Carlisle, and he's hard to bring down.
I tell you what, Sam, we've both seen it now. Carlisle has, he's been running like he's a man on a mission. He's hard to bring down. He's not getting tackled by the first guy that hits him, and he's just keeping those legs a pumping.
Carlisle, 5 carries for 32 yards. He had the touchdown back in the first quarter. Early second quarter now, Marquette leading Roxana 8-6, but the Shells marching again. 1st and 10 at the Marquette 45, or at midfield. They're right on the midfield stripe. And back to throw is Touche. Sets. Flag is thrown. Touche running to his right. Another flag thrown. He completes the pass to Span down at the Marquette 35-yard line. And now we'll check the flags. And I think the Shells are going to be called for holding at the very least. And they might have had 2 holds on the play.
Yeah,
because the flags came out at different times.
Exactly. I don't know what that second flag was, but there was no doubt that the first flag was holding.
And that's going to wipe out a 15-yard pass completion from Touche to Span. And the 10-yard walk-off, they're going to take it from the flag lying back in the Roxana backfield. The flag was lying at the Shells 46, so they're walking back to the 36. A 10-yard walk-off, the 3rd penalty of the night against the Shells. Put it down at the 37-yard line, so it's going to be 1st and 23 Roxana. And that's a killer when you've had one good drive and had another one going.
It normally is a killer. We'll see what Roxana can do with it.
Touche back to pass, completes it to Carlisle, and his knee, they say when he went down to catch the low throw, he trapped it against the ground, and it's incomplete. It was actually, it was Jacob Carlisle, and he had some running room out there, so that's a bad break for the Shells as Touche delivered it a little bit too low. I think he just eased up on it. It was a short throw. Carlisle was wide open, and he just short-armed it.
Sometimes those easy throws are tough throws, and they may not make sense, but sometimes you do ease up on that throw, and then you misthrow it.
2nd and 23 Shells from their own 37-yard line. Touche fakes the pitch. And Angelo Cross buries him back at the 29-yard line. Touche tried to fake a pitch, and then he was going to spin and go the other direction, and Angelo Cross said, "You didn't fool me," and before Touche could even turn around, he didn't know Cross was there, and Cross took him to the turf.
Well, and it looked to me like a broken play from the get-go. I don't know if he was faking a pitch or was actually going to pitch it out and then saw that no one was there to pitch it to, but they took a big loss on that one.
A loss of 8, and it brings about 3rd and 31 for the Shells from their own 29-yard line. Backs in the eye, and this time they give it to the fullback, Spann, and Spann breaking a couple of tackles, coming here to the near side, finally driven out of bounds.
Actually, Sam, what they did is they faked it to Spann and ran a wingback counter.
Yeah, they did.
That was 32, which is Danny Robertson coming back the opposite way. But we got a late flag just now.
Well, Robertson was driven out of bounds with zest by Tyler Moore. I mean, he hit him hard. And then I did see some extracurricular activity out here at about the 45-yard line. A couple of players were into it. And we'll see what the call is here. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Roxana. So the Shells apparently may have had a late hit there. That was a 5-yard pickup by Robertson.
Well, and maybe now we're seeing what's been Roxana's trouble all year long, because all they've been doing this second series of theirs is march the ball backwards.
A 15-yard walk-off against the Shells. Now the officials call a timeout, and I guess they want to explain to Pat Keith what the call was and what was going on. Actually, they're not explaining to Pat Keith, but it's one of his assistants. So now it's going to be 4th down and about 40. 4th and 40 for the Shells from their own 20. And they are in punt formation. Back deep to punt, Stephen Garner stands at his own 5-yard line, gets a good snap, and gets a good kick away. And the Explorers let it hit, and it takes a Shells bounce across midfield inside the Marquette 45 down to the 44-yard line. And so the Shells got out of that without too much more damage. Actually, couldn't even kick it far enough for a first down.
Yeah.
It was about a 37-yard punt, and they needed 40 for the first down.
And as fired up as the Shells were after that first series and scoring a touchdown, they came out that second series and just went backwards and wound up with the 4th and 40. That took some of the air out of them.
Well, after the holding call wiped out the 15-yard pass completion, that would have put them down at about the Marquette 30-yard line, the wheels came off. 1st and 10 Explorers from their own 44. Brimage in motion to the left side. They give it to Etley, the fullback, and he powers his way out to just shy of midfield to pick up a 5 on that carry for Steve Etley.
Yeah, good first down run. Pick up that first 5, and now they got 2nd and 5.
33, Steve out of the ball carrier.
Well, the Shells have run most of the plays here in the first quarter and a half. As Marquette's scoring play was a long strike, a 56-yard touchdown completion on the first possession. Then Marquette went 3 and out. 2nd and 5 Explorers from their own 49. Holm in motion to the right side, and they run the option to the left side and pitch it back to Holm. Holm has first down yardage, still on his feet at the 40, driving the defender to the sideline. And Holm knocked out of bounds at about the 36 of the Shells.
Yeah, that was a nice option play with Holm taking the pitch out from the quarterback and getting the first down. Marquette right now has a player down on the field.
And let's see where they're going to mark Holm out. They're going to say he stepped out at the 40. So it was an 11-yard pickup for Dalton Holm. And only the fourth first down here in the first half for the Explorers. Is that Angelo Cross? I believe it might be.
No, it's actually not Angelo Cross. I don't mean to laugh at that, but...
well, Angelo last week went down, and you thought, by the writhing on the ground, you thought he was dead, or about to, and then he walked off the field and came back a couple plays later. So.
Yeah, and he's done that a couple times this year, and I talked to him this past week. I told him, I said, Angelo, if you go down like that, get back up, because you were scaring your mother to death and the rest of us to death, the way you were writhing out there on the ground and, going, wiggling back and forth and everything, and you just can't do that because it scares people.
Timeout on the field for the injured player, 7:43 remaining in the second quarter. It's Marquette 8, Roxana 6. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
Make life easy for yourself at the United Methodist Village.
With no more stairs and no more home upkeep in a spacious apartment or villa home, with no upfront endowment and just one monthly fee, you stay in control of your finances. Now that's easy and smart. Countryside living that is fun, neighborly, and only minutes from the Clark Bridge. The United Methodist Village, where living is easy.
I only wish I'd have moved here sooner.
Hi, George Weber. Weber Chevrolet's year-end clearance is underway, making now a great time to save money when you buy and when you drive. Through the end of the month, we are offering the highest sales incentives of the year. And no matter what you hear in the media, believe me, our financing is still as available and aggressive as it's ever been, if not more. Combine that with our great incentives and you have the lowest payments of the year. And that's just the start of the great values at Weber Chevrolet in Granite City, Illinois. Or check us out on the web at webergc.com.
Marquette leading Roxana 8-6, 6:39 remaining here in the first half. The Explorers scored on their first possession of the ball game, a 79-yard touchdown drive after taking the opening kickoff. Keenan Eberlin hit Derek Sterrett with a 56-yard touchdown pass. Eberlin ran it in for two. Marquette led 8-0, but then the Shells answered with a 78-yard touchdown drive of their own. Scored on a 5-yard touchdown run by Jacob Carlisle. Now 3rd and 5, Marquette at the Roxana 35, and they try to run the end around with Brimage, and he's hit for a 5 or 6 yard loss. Marquette tried a little razzle-dazzle there. Roxana stayed home and was not fooled at all, and the play backfired on Marquette for a 6 yard loss.
Yeah, a little razzle-dazzle that lost them 6 yards, and maybe now they are in punt situation. I'll tell you, I think if I was Marquette, I'd go ahead and punt it.
4th and 11 for the Explorers at the, we'll call it 4th and 10 as they put the ball down at the 40-yard line. So a 5-yard loss on that play for Brimage. He had nowhere to go. Once he got the football, he probably thought, why'd you give it to me? There's nowhere to go, but Marquette does keep the offense on the field. At the Shell 40-yard line, 4th and 10 Explorers. And now the referee stops the clock, and Marquette is called for delay of game. So it becomes 4th and 15.
Wow, that surprises me because it didn't seem like they were taking a long time.
It really did not.
Now, last time I thought maybe they were getting close to a delay of game, but not this time.
4th and 15 Explorers at the Roxana 45-yard line.
Well, now Marquette should be punting. They're still not lined up in punt formation, but here's a case where I think they should be punting.
Receivers left and right, double wing formation. Brimage in motion to the left side. And Eberlin rolls to his right. He sets, he lets it go downfield, and that's picked off by the Shells at their own 25 out across the 30 and out to the 37-yard line. It was John Brewster who picked it off, a senior. And that was one of those situations where he'd have been better off to bat it down because it was 4th down.
What the Shell fans don't realize is he just cost them 10, almost 15 yards by picking that ball off. If he knocks it down, that ball comes back to the original line of scrimmage. But again, when a quarterback throws the ball right to a defensive back, he's going to catch it even if it is 4th down.
1st and 10 Shells from their own 36. Touche under center with a wing to the right, backs in the eye, and here is the give to Brumley. And Drew Brumley is stacked up for no gain on the carry.
Well, right now, again, Roxana is a very fired-up team. They got the momentum going with them. Marquette's a little bit deflated, and plus with the injury to Will Hart, I guarantee you right now a number of the Marquette players are thinking about that.
Down to 5:05 and counting remaining in the first half. Marquette leading it 8-6.
And based on what we've seen so far, Sam, can you tell which team is 4-3 looking for a playoff berth and which team is 0-7?
Not at all. Not at all. But this is the way the first half went last week against East Alton Wood River in Marquette. The Oilers hung around. Now here is Touche trying to sweep to right side, and he is brought down by Derek Sterrett, who was trailing the play, and Sterrett just caught up to Touche as Touche could not turn that corner, and he lost 6 on the carry.
Now, I don't know what, one of two things has happened. The Roxana offense right now is not that same Roxana offense we saw that first series, or that Marquette defense is not the same defense we saw in that first series.
Or maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, either Marquette's picked up their game and Roxana has regressed, or as you said, a little bit of both.
3rd and 16 for the Shells from their own 29-yard line. Touche rolls to his left. He wants to throw. He's got plenty of time. Still scanning the field. Now he's going to run with it. And he is buried for little or no gain. Well, he picked up about 4 on the carry before Mark Harrell, it was Angela Cross, I guess, that finally buried him. Touche just could not find anybody open downfield. Picked up 4, but it's going to be 4th and 12.
Yeah, and there was a case he did have a lot of time, and when a quarterback has that much time and cannot find a receiver, you have to attribute that to the defensive backs.
So the Shells go into punt formation. Stephen Garner stands back at his own 20-yard line. Cecil Brimage back deep to receive for the Explorers.
Oh, his knee's down.
And they did. They called it dead. Or somebody blew a whistle.
Yeah,
it's the referee
did.
And it is. It's down. He went down to a knee to field the snap. And that's going to go as an 8-yard loss on the play. And the Explorers are going to have it 1st and 10 deep in Roxana territory.
Well, other than a block on that, it couldn't have turned out worse for Roxana. And what simply happened was the snap was low. The punter went down on a knee to field it, and in high school ball, you cannot put that knee down.
Well, you called it right away. There was a bit of a delay, and finally the referee recognized what had happened too. 1st and 10 Explorers at the Roxana 24-yard line. Brimage in motion to the left side. They run the option to the left side. Pitch it back to Brimage. He can't field it. Picks it up after it bounces a couple times. Still loose on the far sideline. And the Shells say they've got it. And the officials agree. Marquette turns it over.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something, Sam. Had that pitch been to Brimage, he probably would have walked into the end zone because there was nobody on the outside. Instead, the pitch was poor. Brimage could not handle it. And then, as we've said twice tonight, Brimage made the cardinal mistake of trying to bend over as he's running and pick up the ball. All he did was kick it. Then he got tackled, and the ball still rolling around. I saw Dalton Holm try to pick it up. He couldn't get it, and finally the Shells fell on it.
1st and 10 Roxana from their own 29-yard line with 3:04 remaining in the half. The Shells trailing by 2. Here's a give right up the gut. And a nice gain on that carry for, was that Carlisle? No, it's Brumley. Brumley picks up 5. That was Brumley's 4th carry for a total of 24 yards. Carlisle, 5 carries for 32. Span, the fullback, 4 carries for 11. 2nd down and 5 for the Shells with 2.5 minutes remaining in the half. Receivers left and right, the backs in the eye. Ryan Touche under center, takes the snap, turns, gives it to Span, the fullback. A flag is thrown into the pile. Marquette says they've got the football. Let's see what the officials say.
The official says yes.
And now another flag is thrown, as apparently the Explorers, I think, maybe have protested too vociferously, because there were 3 Explorers in the face of the referee, claiming they had the football, and the referee threw a flag. Personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct against Roxana. Well, I guess there's not a penalty against Marquette, but I guess Marquette didn't recover the fumble they thought they had either.
Well, I saw one of the refs pointing that Marquette had, not one of the refs, but looks like the line judge, actually, of all people, was pointing that the Explorers had the ball.
Well, let's see what they say. A 15-yard walk-off against the Shells. Personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct against Roxana is the indication, but no indication that Marquette has the football.
No, so it looks like Roxana did keep the ball.
So 50 yards and penalties for the Shells here in the first half. It was a fumble.
There was a fumble, yeah.
First and 10 for the Explorers at the Roxana 20. Well, they sure didn't indicate it very well. So the Marquette offense right back out there. So the teams trade turnovers, and the give is to Edley right up the middle. Oh, no, it's going to be Keenan Aberlin, and he goes in for the touchdown. Aberlin faked the handoff to Edley and just took off around the left sideline and runs it in from 20 yards out. And with 2:13 remaining in the half, the Explorers added their lead.
Yeah, there was nobody outside. That was that play they tried to get on the last play when they fumbled. But instead of Eberlin keeping it, he tried to pitch it, and they fumbled it. This time, Eberlin just kept it, and no one even knew he had the ball. Even up here, we weren't sure he had the ball until he got into the end zone, and the ref put his hands up for a touchdown.
So Marquette will go for 2. So they convert the Roxana turnover into a touchdown. And here is the give to Brimage trying to follow Edley, and Brimage is stacked up shy. So with 2:13 remaining in the half, the score now, Marquette 14, Roxana 6. You're listening to C1570 Radio Sports.
There's a long pass. It looks like it's going to be overthrown. Oh, the receiver dashes under the ball and makes the catch. Touchdown! Where did he get that extra burst of speed? That off-season training really paid off.
Alton Memorial Hospital's Human Motion Institute Sports Performance helps athletes maximize their potential and improve their game. With sports performance training, you'll leap higher, run faster, and throw farther. Learn more at altonmemorialhospital.org. Human Motion Institute Sports Performance, building better athletes.
The more your life changes, the more your insurance needs change. I'm Gerard Fisher of American Family Insurance. In just minutes, I can conduct a free personal insurance review to help you determine how much and what type of coverage is right for you, with no costly gaps or overlaps. Interested? Call me, Gerard Fisher of American Family Insurance, today at 466-7062.
American Family Insurance.
Well, here late in the first half, the teams traded fumbles, and the Roxana fumble was much more costly than was Marquette's, as the Explorers were able to convert on the next play a 20-yard touchdown run by Keenan Aberlin, and Marquette now leads at 14-6. And now the Shells fumble the kickoff. It's loose at the 30, big pile up, and Marquette has it. Marquette has it at the 32. So the Explorers will have 2:13 to try to get something done.
And I think now all of a sudden we're seeing the 0-7 Shells.
The wheels are coming off. Penalties, personal fouls, unsportsmanlike conduct, turnovers.
They sure looked good on that first drive, though, didn't they?
They did. Well, even the second drive was moving. They were all the way down to the Marquette 30, and then they got that holding penalty, then an unsportsmanlike conduct, and then a sack. And since then, it hasn't been the same Shells team, and now Roxana wants a timeout. Head coach Pat Keith is going to go out there and tell them, hey, we got to get our wits about us because we're still in this football game. We're down 8 with 2:13 to go till halftime, and we just can't afford to play like this.
Yeah, actually, that's their defensive coordinator out there who's relaying the message from Pat Keith.
But the Shells still only trailing by 8 to 4-3 football team that's trying to become playoff eligible, and They need to find a way to keep Marquette out of the end zone here on this possession and come out and try to get something going in the second half.
Right. Well, there's no doubt the Shells played a very nice first quarter. They have not played a good second quarter. They've been very sloppy. But even yet, they only find themselves trailing by 8 points.
Don't forget, Game 2 of our broadcast doubleheader tonight comes your way from the Mississippi Valley Conference, the long-standing rivalry between the Civic Memorial Eagles and the Jerseyville Panthers. The Eagles, who have had so many near misses this season, up in Jerseyville, taking on Gary Carter's Panthers.
I tell you what, I'll take the Eagles in that one, Sam.
Jack Miller, wide right, wide left, Derek Sterrett. And on the first down play, a pass down the left sideline for Sterrett, and pass interference called against the Shells as Sterrett went up and tried to bring it down. Officials from both sides of the field threw flags, and that'll be an interference call against Roxana, and a nicely thrown ball there by Keenan Eberlin.
But if there is such a thing as a good penalty, that was a good penalty by Roxana in that the defensive back made sure that Sterrett could not catch that ball for a possible touchdown. And in so doing, he got the flags. But in high school ball, it's only a 10-yard penalty. It does not go down there where the penalty occurred.
Now Sterrett is down and injured. He went up and tried to make a leaping catch. And it's a 15-yard walk-off against the Shells. Roxana has been penalized 6 times for 65 yards. And the walk-off will put the football down at the Shells' 16-yard line. But now they continue to attend to Sterrett over on the far side of the field. The official finally reaches down and picks up his flag, which was lying at Sterrett's feet.
Boy, look where they marked that ball, Sam.
Yeah, it was a 15-yard walk-off. From the 31 down to the 16, now Sterrett gets up and walks off.
I thought it was only a 10-yard penalty in high school ball, but I'm sure they're right and I'm wrong.
And so the Explorers with 2:06 remaining in the half, and Marquette with an 8-point lead as 1st and 10 at the Roxana 16-yard line.
Well, they're going to come back with that same option that Eberlin walked into the end zone on last time, and this time don't be surprised if he has to pitch it out to Brimage.
Now it's Wilton wide left, Jack Miller wide right. Eberlin under center, double wing formation, Brimage in motion to the left side, they pitch it to Brimage. Brimage puts a move on, tries to turn left corner, now cuts it back, and the Shells played it well and throw a Brimage for a loss.
Well, the Shells are doing a very good job of following the play, and by doing so, when Brimage is trying to cut back, he's cutting right back into the strength of Roxana. So again, Roxana's been well coached in that Brimage is a slash and run, a cutback type runner, and they're stopping him cold right now.
A loss of a yard, 2nd and 11 for the Explorers at the Roxana 17-yard line. Now they run the option to the right side, and Eberlin tries to turn it upfield, and he finds the going top. He might have gained a yard, if that. And it's going to be 3rd, no gain on the play, 3rd and 11 for the Explorers.
Well, all of a sudden the Roxana defense has stiffened up again, and right now they're playing pretty tough. So Marquette does face that 3rd and 10.
Eberlin did gain a yard. And the line of scrimmage, the Roxana 16-yard line, 3rd and 10 for the Explorers, down to 1 minute and counting remaining in the half. Marquette with an 8-point lead. Eberlin back to throw. He's got a man wide open at the end zone, incomplete. That was Sterrett, I guess, back into the ball game. Or was it Wilt? No, it's Sterrett.
And I really believe he should have caught that ball. He went up, and the defensive back, who is a very short defensive back, Sterrett's a tall kid, and Sterrett had his hands all over that ball but could not come down with it.
Well, initially, Sterrett was wide open, and Eberlin floated that ball into the end zone. Sterrett went high to try to get it. The defensive back closed ground quickly and got there, but you're right. I think Sterrett should have caught it. That was one. If Eberlin had thrown that to his back shoulder, the defender could have never gotten there. Now Eberlin back to throw again over the middle, and that is incomplete and nearly intercepted by the Shells. It was intended for Dalton Hall. And now The Shells hold, and that was a big stop by Roxana as Marquette had 1st and 10 at the Shells 16-yard line and went 4 shots from there and gained nothing.
Yeah, a very big defensive stand by the Shells and lost opportunity for Marquette.
So 1st and 10 Roxana from the 16 with 46 seconds remaining, and they'll probably be content just to kill the clock here. Go into the locker room at halftime trailing by only 1 possession. Here is the give to Bromley, the second man through, and he finds lots of running room, has first down yardage and then some, all the way out to the 30-yard line, a gain of 14 for Drew Bromley.
Yeah, that was a nice run. Again, a nice single lead. Fullback made a nice block. Linemen are down there blocking. Good hole, but at this point, Marquette's defense can allow to bend like that. They just cannot give up a big touchdown run.
Well, Roxana now takes a timeout because they say, well, we reeled off 14 yards right there. We've got 39 seconds remaining. Let's see if we can draw something up and maybe throw a deep one against the Explorers.
You know, and they might as well. When you're 0-7, you can take chances that in other seasons you would not think of taking those kind of chances. But Roxana's got nothing to lose here and everything to gain, so they might as well throw the ball downfield a couple times and see what can happen.
Marquette, that win last week against the East Alton Wood River Oilers in the Explorers' final home game in Public School Stadium by a score of 51-14. Marquette cleaned up on the Knights of Columbus Quarterback Club Awards this week. Marquette's offensive line of Michael Cook, Brad Imming, Mark Harrison, Angelo Cross, Bobby Bloomberg, and Will Hart was named the Offensive Line of the Week as the Explorers rushed for 518 yards last week. Cecil Brimage was the Offensive Back of the Week, and Steve Atley was the Defensive Lineman of the Week. The only non-Explorer to win an award last week was the Defensive Back of the Week, who was Scott Gibbs of the East Alton Wood River Oilers.
And I recall us talking about how good a game Gibbs had. He deserved it.
You're in tune to WBGZ Alton on the first down play for the Shells. They give it on that wing counter, and not much going there as the ball carrier, number 32, Robertson, picked up about 4, but the clock running now, and we're down to 20 seconds. 2nd and 6, Roxana from their own 34-yard line. Down to 12 seconds. And they take the snap to Shea, rolls to his left, pump fakes. Now lets it go deep down the left sideline, and that's incomplete. And it's going to bring about 3rd and 6 with just 5 seconds remaining in the half.
And with these 5 seconds remaining, they might as well throw the ball downfield. They may get lucky, catch it, going for a touchdown. Then again, they may get a defensive penalty, in which case they will have one more play. And then again, they may get nothing, but they might as well take a chance on it.
3rd and 6 Shells from their own 35. Well, they don't have any receivers out. They've got they do have a wing to the right and a tight end to the right, but they're going to run it, and they give it to Brumley, and Brumley has lots of running room. He's across midfield and finally brought down by Dalton Hall at the Marquette 47-yard line. That goes as a gain of 18, but it's the final play of the half. And the Shells probably are not too displeased at where they stand here at halftime, because at the half, it's Marquette 14, the Shells 6. Back to recap the first half of action in just a moment. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
RiverBender.com's live coverage of today's game is brought to you by Jack Schmidt Chevrolet, the #1 GM certified dealer in Southern Illinois. Olin Community Credit Union, exceeding member expectations since 1934. Tycon Builders, 25 years of quality construction services. Alton Memorial Hospital, the best health care close to home. United Methodist Village, where living is easy. Tom Lane State Farm, your good neighbor agent in the Riverbend. Roberts Ford, the value store since 1949. Weber Granite City Chevrolet. Buy American. Gerard Fisher, American Family Insurance. All your protection under one roof.
until they get over there.
I wait for the
Take it down to the creek part, and then just maintain that kind of distance. Not that you might catch up. Now I know you can toss a wheelie on that, though. Yeah. You're ready to go, sir. Until he gets up to the green part about. Gotta maintain that distance when you're going around. See that ball? See that green part? Hey Mark, it died on him. He can't get started. It died on him. He can't get started.
with Mike Slaughter, Sam Stenback, and Roxana. We may have to just get up and walk away from these microphones because they're selling brats for half price.
They do smell good, don't they?
They just made that announcement. And here we are, stuck in the broadcast booth.
Well, at least we have a good game, though. You know,
Yes,
coming into
indeed.
the game, I bet many people thought that this would not be much of a game, and it's a very entertaining game. Both teams have made some key mistakes, but the score sure indicates a tight game, and it may end up being a very tight game.
You think some of those guys in white jerseys might have come in here thinking it wasn't going to be much of a game?
All week long, Sam, I kept on telling these kids, don't look past Roxana. When you get a proud tradition, even if you're 0-7, you still go out there and put it all on the line. And I kept saying, I hope to God you guys are not looking past Roxana.
Nick Schrank has the ball teed at his own 40-yard line. Brandon West and Jacob Carlisle back deep to return for the Shells. And Schrank puts the toe into it, high end-over-end kick. It's going to be one of the up men for the Shells out at about his own 25, still on his feet, trying to turn that right corner. And finally, he's horse-collared, and that's going to be a penalty against the Explorers. The Marquette tackler, Tyler Moore, just reached out and got the return man by the back of his shoulder pad, by his collar, and pulled him down. On the return, I think that was Jordan Brueggemann.
It was number 9.
It was Brueggemann. And so he took it out to the 32, and they're going to walk off yardage from there. It'll be a 15-yard walk-off against the Explorers, and the Shells are going to start 1st and 10 from their own 47-yard line.
And 48. That's a good rule, that horse collar. In the pros, in the college level, and on the high school level, that's a very dangerous tackle, and a kid could get seriously hurt. So I'm glad to see that they have put that rule in and that they do enforce that rule.
1st and 10, Roxana from their own 48-yard line. Here's the give, second man through. That's Brumley, and Brumley crosses midfield and takes it down to the Marquette 48, a gain of 4 on that carry. And somebody on Marquette came very close to getting the face mask there. I think maybe got an arm on it, but never grabbed it.
Well, yeah, it looked like they came across the top of the helmet, and could have gone either way. But right now, I mean, the Shells just ran their first play, and what they did is they got back to what they did well the first series, and that's running that single lead, mixing it in with a fullback belly. So right now, on 2nd and 5, almost 6, I wouldn't be surprised to see the fullback get the ball.
2nd and 6 at the Marquette 48. Here's the give again. This time it's Carlisle, and Carlisle can't get back to the line of scrimmage. He loses a yard. It's going to be 3rd and 7 for the Shells at the Marquette 49.
No, that time the offensive line for the Shells missed a Marquette defender, and he came right through and hit the running back in the backfield.
Well, they tried to go a little wider there, too, and it gave the Marquette defense an opportunity for some penetration. So now 3rd and 7, Roxana at the Marquette 49-yard line. The Shells in those red jerseys, yellow pants, red socks, and red helmets. On the 3rd down play, Touche takes a snap and rolls to his left, looking downfield. He stops, he lets it go. He's got his man at the 40. It's a 1st down for the Shells. It was Donnie Spann making the reception. And it's a gain of 8, but enough for a 1st down for Roxana.
And that, we used to call that the fullback sucker pass, in which the fullback goes right through off guard, or even between guard and center. He finds an opening, goes through, and then goes out into the flat. And tonight, Spann has been the favorite receiver of the Shell quarterback.
Spann has both receptions. Touche 2 of 5 for 21 yards. Receiver to the right side, a wing to the right, and the give to the tailback, and that's Carlisle, and Carlisle takes it inside the 40, down to the 38 of the Explorers. That'll be a gain of about 3. Carlisle, 7 carries for 34 yards.
Carlisle has run hard all night. He's shown me a little bit of speed. He's shown me some toughness, I tell you that. And again, I like Spann there at fullback. He's a big kid. He's a good blocker. Hasn't picked up much yardage on the ground, but he's been more valuable as a pass receiver and as a blocking back.
2nd and 7, Roxana at the Marquette 38. Backs in the eye with a wing to the right, double tight. And here is Touche. He's going to keep it himself. He can't turn that right corner because there's Angelo Cross to spin him down to the ground. A loss of a couple on that carry for Touche. They're going to give him a very good spot. They put it all the way back at the line of scrimmage, and I'm not sure how they figured that. But
they gave him a heck of a spot, that's for sure. But I tell you what, that play has not gone anywhere all night for the Shells. That quarterback keeper, they're better off with the single lead and running span through the line and hitting him on out in the flat.
Touche seems to have some speed once he gets going, but he's not particularly quick at the line of scrimmage. And now it's 3rd and 10 for the Shells at the Marquette 40-yard line. And now they stop the clock, and the Shells want a timeout. 8:40 remaining in the third quarter. Marquette 14, Roxana 6. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
Supplier Pricing Plus at the East Side's newest and one of the largest Chevy dealerships, Jack Schmidt Chevy of Wood River, with 14 acres of selection and more selection. Now all with Supplier Pricing Plus. Save $8,165 on a new 09 half-ton Silverado. A new 09 Malibu LS, just $18,600. Hit the road with Jack Schmidt, with over 14 acres of service, selection, and savings.
Hit the road with Jack.
Jack Schmidt Chevy, Wood River, Illinois.
Life is busy, and that's a good thing. Olin Community Credit Union helps me keep up with convenient checking services like free online banking and bill pay, 5 area locations, and free ATMs. They even provide extra deposit insurance to keep my money safe and sound. I know I can count on them, and that helps me give 100% to the people who are counting on me. Call Olin Community Credit Union today or visit them online at olincreditunion.org. Trust me, you'll be glad you did.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're now approaching the island of Bora Bora. Enjoy your stay.
This beautiful home contains 8 bedrooms, 2 family rooms, and a private jacuzzi just off the master bedroom.
Hey, anybody up for a cruise in my sweet boat?
What are you going to do with all the money you save from buying your car at Roberts Motors?
Roberts Motors in Alton or online at RiverBender.com.
Your kids now have kids of their own. I'm State Farm Agent Tom Lane. With just a simple gift, your grandchildren may experience a lifetime of life insurance. Give me a call at 377-8912 in Bethalto to discuss the many options that are available to provide your grandchildren with a gift of life. For great products and service that are available 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, call me, Tom Lane, at 377-8912.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This one here on Z1570 is Civic Memorial in Jerseyville from the Mississippi Valley Conference. So we'll have all that play-by-play for you later on this evening. But right now, Roxana facing 4th and 10 at the Marquette 40-yard line as the Explorers lead by a score of 14-6, and Roxana sends the punting team onto the field. Stephen Garner standing back just on his side of midfield. Gets a good snap and gets the kick away. It's a high kick. A fair catch called for and then fumbled by Cecil Brimage, but Brimage covers it at the 11-yard line, and the Explorers will start their first possession of the second half deep in their own territory.
And that was a smart punt by the Roxana Shells. There's no sense in risking it and giving the Explorers that near midfield. Right now, Marquette's got to go 89 yards for a touchdown. And again, the Shells are only down by 8 points, so that was a smart play.
A good idea by Cecil Brimage to fair catch it, but not a good idea to fumble it. But then a good idea to just go ahead and cover it. So Miller wide left, Sterrett wide right. 1st and 10 Explorers from their own 11. Keenan Everlin under center puts Brimage in motion to the right side, and then Brimage reverses, and they try to run the sweep to the right. He was in motion to the left, and with the snap, he reversed to the right. They pitched it out to him, and he's thrown for about a 5-yard loss.
And the
Shells were not fooled.
No, they're doing a great job defending that option. And again, Brimage has had a tough go tonight.
A loss of 4 on that play, back to the 7-yard line, 2nd and 14 for the Explorers. Well, what would Coach Rogers say right here?
He'd say give it to the fullback, but you know what I would do right now? I'd throw that ball downfield. But I'm not in the Hall of Fame. Coach Rogers is.
Well, but the overriding theme being Marquette has not established the fullback here tonight, and thus all these other plays haven't worked well. They run that same play, I believe. Now this time Everlin kept it himself, but they did run a similar play as they put Brimage in motion to the left side, And then with the snap of the ball, he reversed to the right. And that time, Eberlin, instead of pitching it to Brimage, kept it himself, and he picked up 2. It's going to be 3rd and 12.
Right, and the reason I said I would have thrown it downfield was because on second down, there's less likelihood of the defense looking for that long pass on second down than there is on 3rd and long. Right now, Marquette's got a 3rd and long, so right now, we're all thinking pass.
3rd and 12, Marquette from their own 9-yard line. Starrett wide right, Miller wide left, double wing formation. Brimage in motion to the left side. And they give it to Etley, the fullback. And Etley is stacked up after, well, they gave it to Holm, I guess.
They gave it to Holm.
Wing counter. And Holm picked up 2, maybe 3, and it's going to be 4th and 9, and Marquette will have to punt. 3 and out on their first possession of the second half. And Roxana continues to hang around.
And give credit to the Roxana defense right there. They shut the Marquette offense down.
Well, I agree with Coach Rogers. Marquette needs to establish that fullback. Etley's only carried it 4 times. 4 carries for 17 yards. Well, when you get 4 yards a carry out of your fullback, that's not bad. Now confusion on the Marquette sideline as they can't get the right personnel onto the field. And Marquette has to use a timeout. 6:13 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Marquette 14, Roxana 6. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
When you use Tycon Builders for any project, no matter how big or small, they don't decide when the job is finished, you do. They won't even accept final payment for your project until you're 100% satisfied. Tycon Builders is a locally owned and operated company, so when they work on a home, they're working on the home of a neighbor, and they want to make sure their neighbors are happy. For home improvements, small or large, call Tycon Builders for a free estimate. 465-7335. Tycon Builders. Cross the bridge to quality.
Make life easy for yourself at the United Methodist Village.
With no more stairs and no more home upkeep in a spacious apartment or villa home, with no upfront endowment and just 1 monthly fee, you stay in control of your finances. Now that's easy and smart. Countryside living that is fun, neighborly, and only minutes from the Clark Bridge. The United Methodist Village, where living is easy.
I only wish I'd have moved here sooner.
In a football game through much of the first half, but that was due primarily to the Oilers' offense. Tonight, Roxana has stayed in the ball game, and I've been very impressed by the Shells' defense, which has handled Marquette's quickness and has not been fooled. They played very fundamentally good defense.
Well, and you're right about one thing, Sam. If the Shells are taking away Brimage and taking away Eberlin, then the fullback must be open, so they should be running Utley a little bit more.
Holm, standing a yard deep in his own end zone, gets a good snap and gets the kick away. It's a high, short kick, and the Shells get away from it, and it rolls dead at the Marquette 31-yard line. So on the exchange of punts, the Shells come out smelling like a rose. They picked up about 10 yards on the exchange of punts.
And the Shells are only 31 yards away from tying this score up.
1st and 10, Roxana at the Marquette 31. Well, the Shells did move the football in that last possession, but then it bogged down. And actually, they could have had a first down at about the Marquette 22 if a receiver had held on to a well-thrown football.
Right.
1st and 10, Roxana at the Marquette 31. Here's the give to the second man through Brumley, and he is hit and brought down immediately. And that time it was Etley who came in and buried Drew Brumley for a 3-yard loss.
Yeah, right now is when the Roxana offensive line has to pick it up, because right now they're letting Marquette come through the gaps, and Marquette's getting to some of these backs in the backfield. I would not be surprised right now to see Pat Keith put that ball downfield again. He's got nothing to lose, and the few times he has thrown downfield, he's had a receiver open and they just missed him or they've dropped the ball.
2nd down and 13 for the Shells at the Marquette 34-yard line. The back's in the eye with a wing to the right, double tight. Touche drops to throw, rolls to his right under heavy pressure, and he is buried. He lost the ball. And Marquette has recovered at the Roxana 43-yard line. On the football for the Explorers was Bobby Bloomberg. Some of the fans here on the Shell sideline hollering that he was down, but it appeared to me he did lose the football prior to being buried. I think the defender that hit him for Marquette was Brad Imming. And Touche coughed up the football, the second turnover of the night for the Shells. And the Explorers start 1st and 10 from their own 43, and Marquette needs to do something on offense here. They've only got 5 first downs on the night. Home in motion to the right side, and Marquette fumbled the football. Had a big pile up at the line of scrimmage. Did they fumble it, or was it just a quick handoff?
I thought they fumbled it, yeah. It must have been a quick handoff.
No, I think they did fumble it, and they just got on it. A loss of a yard.
Well, this game has devolved into kind of a sloppy procedure right now. I mean, both teams are not doing anything very good. Roxana had a few highlights, a few moments, but lately both teams have been turning the ball over, or at least fumbling the ball.
2nd and 11 for the Explorers from their own 42. Holm in motion to the right side, and it's going to be Eberlin keeping the football himself. Keenan Eberlin down the right sideline with a big gain all the way down to the Roxana 30-yard line.
Good option. Again, a case where the quarterback reads the fullback through. He pulls it out of the fullback's belly, takes it around end, and sees that he's open and just takes off.
26 yards on that pickup for Keenan Eberlin. He is Marquette's leading ground gainer tonight with 49 yards on 5 carries with a touchdown. So he's thrown a touchdown pass. He's run it in for a touchdown. He has the 2-point conversion as well. So he's had a hand in all 14 points. 1st and 10 Explorers at the Roxana 31-yard line. Brimage in motion to the left side, and they run the option to the left side, and that time Eberlin is spun down for a loss. And I still don't understand why they aren't giving it to the fullback.
Yeah, and I would have to agree with you.
It was open that time.
That time it was open because what the Shells did is the Shells had their defense take the quarterback, and they also had a linebacker come up and take the pitch back. So neither Brimage nor Eberlin were open on that, but Utley did go through, and he should have gotten the ball.
A loss of 5 on the play. 2nd and 15 Explorers at the Roxana 36-yard line.
It's just hard.
It's a lot easier up here, too.
Yeah, and it's hard in that triple option to cover all 3 men. You might be able to cover 2 of them at times, but covering all 3 are tough. And the Marquette Explorer quarterback has to figure out which one's open every time.
2nd down and 15. Eberlin back to throw, rolling to his right, looking downfield under pressure. Now he'll run with it, and he is brought down after a short gain. He might have picked up 4 at the most, and it's going to be 3rd and long for the Explorers.
Yeah, he got back to the original line of scrimmage, it looks like, or maybe he's shy of that.
It's going to be, well, he only got 3 on that carry, and it's going to be 3rd and 12.
I thought he got more than that, but
4th and 12, I'm sorry.
Anyhow, he rolled out on that one and then got forced out of the pocket and took off and did not get much yardage. But this should be 4th down, isn't it, Sam?
It is. Well, no, it's 3rd down.
Okay.
3rd and 12. I originally said 3rd and 12, and then I think the PA announcer said 4th down, but that was not correct. Holm in motion to the right side on the 3rd down play. Eberlin has Starrett down the right sideline, and Starrett fights for a 1st down. And a nice delivery there by Eberlin, and Starrett went up and brought it down at the 22-yard line, and it's going to be 4th and 1 for the Explorers after they pick up 11 on that completion.
Well, let's see. I bet on this 4th and 1 you'll see your fullback. Actually, it's more like 4th and 2.
Yeah, only 10 on that pickup from Eberlin to Starrett. Starrett 2 receptions for 66 yards. 4th and 2 for the Explorers at the Roxana 23-yard line. Double wing formation. They put Brimage in motion to the right side. They give it to Adley, the fullback. He spins off the first tackler, keeps those legs churning, and has 1st down yardage and then some, all the way down to about the 15-yard line of the Shells. That was a pickup of about 7 for the fullback, Stephen Adley.
Man, we've got a penalty flag down, Sam.
And it's at the line of scrimmage. And it appears they're going to talk it over with the Shells. So it may not be a Marquette 1st down.
Well, that flag came late in the play, though, so I'm not sure it was holding.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against Roxana. So in addition to the 7-yard pickup and the 1st down by Adley, it's going to be half the distance to the goal line. And they put the football down at about the 8-yard line. 1st and goal for Marquette right there.
Yeah, that's a killer, and again that shows lack of discipline on the part of Roxana. They've got to get away from these stupid penalties and those unsportsmanlike or stupid penalties.
First and goal, Marquette at the Roxana 8-yard line. They send Jack Miller wide to the left side, Derek Sterrett wide right. Double wing formation with Adley as the fullback. Now 2 men go in motion. That'll be a flag. Both wingbacks started in motion. And the flags win. It's only the 3rd penalty of the night against the Explorers, but a costly one.
Yeah, but you got to give Marquette this. As you said, it's only their 3rd penalty, and we've seen nights where they've had a lot more penalties than that.
So the 5-yard walk-off against the Explorers moves the football back to, I guess it's the 12. It'll be first and goal right there. Sterrett wide right, Miller wide left. Brimage the right wing. Holm the left wing. Brimage in motion to the left side, and they give it to the fullback, Adley, and he walks in for a touchdown. A 12-yard touchdown run for Steve Adley, and the Explorers have their biggest lead of the night.
I tell you what, there was nobody there on the defense. The Shell defense has been playing well tonight, but on that particular play, Utley didn't get touched.
So the Explorer lead is now 14, and they will go for 2 here to try to add to that. That's the first score here in the second half. It comes with only 1:37 remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, and that unsportsmanlike penalty on Roxana sure helped Marquette out that time.
Double wing formation, Marquette going for 2. Aberlin runs the option to the right side, pitches it back to Holm, and there's nothing there. He is buried. Actually, it was Etley, I guess, the pitch back, but nonetheless, the 2-point conversion attempt fails. 1:37 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The score now, Marquette 20, Roxana 6. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
Hi, George Weber. Weber Chevrolet's year-end clearance is underway, making now a great time to save money when you buy and when you drive. Through the end of the month, we are offering the highest sales incentives of the year. And no matter what you hear in the media, believe me, our financing is still as available and aggressive as it's ever been, if not more. Combine that with our great incentives and you have the lowest payments of the year. And that's just the start of the great values at Weber Chevrolet in Granite City, Illinois. Or check us out on the web at RiverGC.com.
Mike Slaughter, Sam Stem back at Charlie Raich Field in Roxana. Well, for the second time tonight, Marquette converts a turnover as they recovered a Roxana fumble. They converted into a touchdown drive. And so Marquette has 2 touchdowns off of turnovers, and then the big strike, the 56-yard touchdown pass on the first possession of the ball game. But other than that, the Roxana defense has stymied Marquette.
Well, it's either been a very good Roxana defense or a very sluggish Marquette offense. I like to think it's more of the former, a very good Roxana defense tonight.
Drew Brumley makes a diving catch of Nick Schrank's kickoff at the 30. And as his knee goes down, the Shells will start 1st and 10 right there.
Well, I think the Shells right now have lost some of their emotion, and they've definitely lost their momentum. So either they've got to do something this drive, or Marquette may put a few more scores on the board.
Well, it's been the turnovers and the penalties that have really hurt the Shells here tonight.
Right.
And despite the fact that Marquette leads by 14, the Explorers have not really dominated. You wouldn't say that. Now here's a pitch back and trying to sweep the left side, and some good running room there for the ball carrier, Brandon West. And West crosses the 35 and takes it all the way out to the 39-yard line. A gain of 9 on that carry.
Oh, now we got look like a penalty flag being thrown.
I believe that's going to be a sideline warning against the Explorers. Just a warning this time. So West, with the carry on that play, only his second of the night. 2 carries for 13 yards, 2nd and 1 Shells from their own 39-yard line. Down to 1:08 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Marquette with a 14-point lead, 20-6. They led 14-6 at halftime.
There's a long pass. It looks like it's going to be overthrown. Oh, the receiver dashes under the ball and makes the catch. Touchdown! Where did he get that extra burst of speed? That off-season training really paid off.
Alton Memorial Hospital's Human Motion Institute Sports Performance helps athletes maximize their potential and improve their game. With sports performance training, you'll leap higher, run faster, and throw farther. Learn more at altonmemorialhospital.org. Human Motion Institute Sports Performance, building better athletes.
But they're going to have a measurement here, so I'll tell you what, Wes is running the ball hard right now. He shows some quickness.
He's got 26 yards on 5 carries. He's had the last 4 carries in a row. And now they stretch it out on the measurement, and they didn't stretch it enough. They stretch it again. Must be awfully close. It takes 3 of them to try and figure it out. And it's going to be 3rd and inches for Roxana. Here as we are just underway in the 4th quarter. Marquette led 8-0. Roxana cut it to 8-6. It was 14-6 Marquette at the half, and now 20-6 Explorers here early in the 4th quarter. 3rd and an inch for the Shells at the Marquette 47-yard line. Backs in the eye with a wing to the right. Touche under center. Turns, gives it to the fullback Span, and he's got the first down as he takes it inside the 45. Down to the 44-yard line, a gain of 3 on that carry for Donnie Span.
Now, if Roxana can stay away from any stupid penalties, if they can stay away from the turnovers, they're doing a nice job right now of moving the ball.
1st and 10 Shells at the Marquette 44. This looks like a running formation, but they've thrown out of it a number of times. Backs in the eye, double tight with a wing to the left. And they're going to throw right here. They swing it out to the left side and complete it. And good yardage down to the 39 for the receiver as he was dragged down from behind by Brad Imming, but making the reception was Jacob Carlisle. And Carlisle looked like he might have gone even further on that play. It turned out to be a 5-yard gainer.
Yeah, still a 5-yard gainer. Had Imming not been there and brought the kid down from behind, it would have been a bigger gainer. But nice little call by Coach Keith.
2nd down and 5 for the Shells at the Marquette 39-yard line. Here is the give to Carlisle. Now flags all over the field with the snap. And Carlisle struggles down to about the 35. But let's see what the flags
were. It looked to me like motion in the backfield, the Roxana backfield.
It was illegal motion. So instead of 3rd and 1, it's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Shells.
See, and that's what I was talking about. Roxana's got to stay away from the penalties.
Well, 8 penalties on the night for the Shells for 78 yards, plus 2 turnovers. And when you come into a ball game 0-7, you just can't make that many mistakes.
Well, and that's probably why they're 0-7. We have not seen them other games this year, but I would bet they've made a lot of mistakes.
And that's indicative of a young team.
Sure.
But you've got to be impressed by Pat Keith's system.
I've been watching Roxana all night now, and I keep saying that they're playing a pretty good game.
2nd and 10 at the Marquette 44. Touche pitches it back, and here's Carlisle trying to sweep that right side, and he cuts it up, and he's a powerful runner. He took it all the way down to the Marquette 40-yard line. A gain of about 4 on that carry, and it's going to be 3rd and 6 for the Shells. Carlisle 8 carries for 38 yards. And this is 4-down territory, so they've got 2 downs here to try to get 6 at the Marquette 40. Time becoming a factor with 9:29 and counting remaining in the 4th quarter. Marquette leading at 20-6. The backs in the eye with a wing to the right. Ryan Touche under center on the 3rd down play. He drops to throw, rolls to his left. He lets it go. He's got his man, the fullback Span, inside the 30 and bumped out of bounds at about the 24-yard line.
Yeah, it's just hard to believe that this Shell team we're watching had gone so many games without scoring. Because, again, they've got some nice athletes, and it looks to me like every kid in the backfield is either a junior or a sophomore. So that's why I'm saying that Coach Keith has to be excited about what he's got coming back next year.
A 16-yard pickup on that play from Touche to Span. Span's third reception of the night for 37 yards. 1st and 10 Shells at the Marquette 34. Here is the give now to the tailback. That time on the carry, it was Brandon West. And West snaked his way through a hole as he slid to his right and picked up 2.
Yeah, West and Carlisle. I think Carlisle's a junior, but West is a sophomore. Span's a junior. Touche is a junior.
2nd and 8, Roxana at the Marquette 22-yard line. This time they send receivers left and right. The back's in the eye behind Touche. He takes a quick snap and rolls to his right, looking downfield, looking all the way back across the field, throws it across the field. The ball's batted up in the air and intercepted by the Explorers, Brett Greenwell. It was tipped up in the air, and Brett Greenwell made a diving interception.
Well, I'm going to tell you, and you saw it, Sam. Touche threw that ball back into the middle of the field. There were 4 Marquette Explorers around the 1 Roxana receiver, and a Marquette defender came in, knocked the ball up into the air, and then one of the Marquette linebackers was able to come back and pick it off.
It was Brett Greenwell with the interception. Now the Explorers start deep in their own territory, 1st and 10 from their own 6. And this time they give it to guess who? The fullback, Steve Utley. And he powers his way out for a couple.
Yeah, you're likely to see Utley down in this situation. When you're in the shadows of your own goalpost, you tend to give the fullback the ball quite a few times.
Well, he didn't gain much. He got a yard. Utley 7 carries for 37 yards and a touchdown. But Marquette has never really gotten its offense on track.
No, and I was about to say, this Roxana defense has really shut down Cecil Brimage. When was the last time he has not been all over the field? Every game we've seen, even in Marquette's losses, Brimage has been a factor on offense.
Now a timeout for the Explorers. 7:44 remaining in the 4th quarter. Marquette 20, Roxana 6. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
To-do lists rarely need more to do. So, at American Family, we offer a variety of products at affordable prices with the convenience of a single agent. From auto and homeowners to business and life insurance. This is Gerard Fisher with American Family Insurance. Give me a call at 466-7062.
American Family Insurance.
But you could see disaster coming for the Shells on that one as he rolled to his right, and then he started looking all the way back across the field. And you never want to see a quarterback do that, because very seldom can you throw back across the field and have anything good happen.
Well, especially on the high school level. Even in the college level and the pros, it's hard to throw back across the field like that.
2nd and 9, Explorers from their own 8-yard line. Hallman motion to the left side, and now right up the middle goes the running back. Is that Brimage? I think it is. And now a flag is thrown as Brimage crossed the 20 and took it out to about that 23-yard line. It was a gain of 15 on the carry, and maybe they got his face mask.
Cecil Brimage was the ball carrier. There are flags down on the field.
It is a face mask against the Shells. So the 15-yard pickup for Brimage, and that was probably his biggest gain of the night.
That was his biggest gain of the night, and now they're marking off 5 more, it looks like. What was that? Is that a 10-yard penalty, Sam?
No, it was 5.
5-yard penalty, and again, the Shells just keep on shooting themselves in their own foot.
9 penalties on the night for the Shells. 1st and 10 Explorers from their own 29. 7:25 and counting remaining in the 4th quarter. Hallman motion to the right side, and they run the option to the right side, and Brimage is hammered. I mean, he is hammered to the turf. And Eberlin says, give me the number of that Mack truck, and it was number 32, Danny Robertson. Had a loss of 4 on the play. Marquette keeps trying to run that option, and it hasn't been there most of the night. Well, a couple times Eberlin's gotten loose, one for a touchdown run.
Right,
But beyond that,
and right now, for some reason, Utley's not in the backfield. I don't know if he's got equipment malfunction or what, but they got Brett Greenwell running at fullback.
Now here's the give on a counter to Brimage, and Brimage picks up a few tough yards, picks up about 4 on that carry. They faked the pitch back to the motion man who was hauled, and then gave it on a wing counter to Brimage. And Brimage actually picked up 6 on that carry. 9 carries for 32 yards for Cecil Brimage.
Yeah, that's still a night off for him.
3rd and 8 for the Explorers from their own 31-yard line. Starrett wide right. Another receiver wide left, that's Wilton. And now whistles and flags prior to the snap.
That's going to delay a game.
Only Marquette's 4th penalty, but their 2nd tonight for delay of game. So 3rd and 8 becomes 3rd and 13. Well, Marquette just has not been sharp, and how much of that is you have to put on the backs of the Explorers, and how much of it you give credit to the Shells is hard to tell.
Yeah, I like to think you give more credit to the Shells, but I am a little bit afraid that Marquette may have just looked right past the Shells.
Now Etley over there sprinting on the far sideline. And now here is Brimage catching a pass right up the middle, and Cecil Brimage off to the races, to the 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Cecil Brimage. Just a quick pop pass right over the middle, and it goes 69 yards for the touchdown.
And once Brimage breaks away, you're not going to run him down from behind, and I have not seen him caught from behind in 2 years. And he took that pop pass, kind of juggled it, and then made one move, and then he was off to the races. And it's a race he's not going to lose.
And that will likely make the Marquette Explorers playoff eligible. They will qualify for the IHSA playoffs as they now lead by 20 with just 5:38 remaining here in the 4th quarter. And you can see the shoulders of the Shells here on the near sideline sag with that one.
Well, with 5.5 minutes left in the game, yeah, I'm being down by 20 points. It's over.
And now the 2-point conversion attempt. Hallman motion to the right side, and they give it to, it's going to be Eberlin trying to keep it himself, and he does not get in. 5:38 remaining here in the 4th quarter. The score now, Marquette 26, Roxana 6. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
Supplier Pricing Plus at the East Side's newest and one of the largest Chevy dealerships, Jack Schmidt Chevy of Wood River, with 14 acres of selection and more selection. Now all with Supplier Pricing Plus. Save $8,165 on a new 09 half-ton Silverado. A new 09 Malibu LS, just $18,600. Hit the road with Jack Schmidt, with over 14 acres of service, selection, and savings.
Hit the road with
Jack Schmidt Chevy, Wood River, Illinois.
Sam Stem along with Mike Slaughter back in Roxana. You're in tune to WBGZ Alton. Listening to Riverbend High School football live tonight on the Big Z. And we say hi to the folks listening in on RiverBender.com as well, and AltonDailyNews.com. Here's a high short kick taken by one of the upmen for the Shells at the 25 to the 30. That's on the return, Brandon West. He takes it out to about the 31-yard line, and the Shells will start 1st and 10 right there. Well, Marquette converted 2 Roxana turnovers into touchdowns. Marquette has had 2 long passes for touchdowns. People are going to pick up the paper tomorrow and read Steve Porter's article in the Telegraph, or see the headline and think, well, Marquette dominated that game, and until they read Steve's verbose prose, they'll not know how well the Shells hung into this game most of the evening.
And that's just it. The Shells really have played a good game tonight.
First and 10 for the Shells from their own 30. Here's the pitch back, Brumley. Brumley tries to cut it back. Driving tacklers back on their heels, and he takes it all the way out to the 36-yard line for a gain of 6. Brumley, 9 carries for 63 yards. Second down and 4 for the Shells. Suddenly it's gotten very chilly, hasn't it?
It's gotten a little bit cool,
It's not bothering the players, though. This is the kind of weather they like.
This is great weather for football players.
Second and 4 for the Shells, and now Touche rolls to his left. He wants to throw under pressure. He dodges Angelo Cross, and now Touche takes off and crosses the 40, takes it out to the 41-yard line, a 5-yard pickup, and another first down for the Shells.
First down for the Shells, but I don't think Coach Keith wants to see Touche running the ball at this point in the game. He wants to see him throwing the ball downfield.
That was Roxana's 11th first down of the night.
Well, like we've said, the Shells have not played a poor game on offense. It's just that they've shot themselves in the foot with penalties and turnovers.
First and 10, Roxana from their own 41 with 4:25 remaining in the fourth quarter. Touche rolls to his right, pump fakes. Now he lets it go deep, and that is intercepted by or was it?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Dalton Holm with the interception. That's Roxana's 4th turnover of the night. And that was not a well-thrown football.
No, that was quite a bit underthrown, and the only one who could catch it was the kid who did catch it. But the unfortunate thing for Roxana is that was the kid from Marquette.
So now the Explorers likely will come out and just try to eat up some clock, leading by 20 with 4:15 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Stare at wide right. He's limping a bit. Headley's still over there flexing his legs and sprinting on the sideline, but out of the ball game. And here is the give to the backup fullback, Brett Greenwell. He crosses the 45 and takes it out to the 48-yard line. A gain of nearly 5 on that carry from Brett Greenwell.
Yeah, I think Utley over there is, like you said, stretching his legs out. He may have tweaked an ankle. I see they've got him flexing his leg and stuff, but anyhow, Greenwell is a more than adequate replacement for him.
Second and 5, Explorers from their own 48. Now 2 men go in motion again. That's the second time they've done that. Everybody on the field throws a flag. They gave the football to Holm, and he lost about 3.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you see in the first couple games of the season, but you should not be seeing that in the 8th game of the season.
Well, one of these times they're going to do that run face-to-face into each other. They almost did there. Both wings turned and went towards the quarterback, and they both looked up, and they were eyeball to eyeball. Well, Roxana declined the penalty because Marquette lost 3 on the play. And so it'll be second and about 8. Marquette operating from their own 45-yard line. Brimage in motion to the left side. They try to run the option to the left side, and Eberlin tried to turn it upfield, and he lost a yard.
Yeah, he tried to cut it up real early, and he kind of lost his footing, but also there was no place to go.
Well, Roxana had the pitch back covered, too. That was Brimage.
No, and the Shells may be down by 20, but they're not quitting out there.
Well, they've done a really good job of containing Marquette and containing Brimage's speed. Brimage did get the touchdown on the pop pass over the middle, but Brimage has not been able to find the corner all night.
No.
And the few running plays that have gone for big yardage for Marquette came on plays where Eberlin was able to get to the outside. So Marquette now facing 4th and 8. Sends the punting team onto the field, but they have to take a timeout. It comes with 2:54 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Marquette 26, Roxana 6. You're listening to Z1570 Radio Sports.
RiverBender.com's live coverage of today's game is brought to you by Jack Schmidt Chevrolet, the #1 GM certified dealer in Southern Illinois. Olin Community Credit Union, exceeding member expectations since 1934. Tycon Builders, 25 years of quality construction services. Alton Memorial Hospital, the best health care close to home. United Methodist Village, where living is easy. Tom Lane State Farm, your good neighbor agent in the Riverbend. Roberts Ford, the value store since 1949. Weber Granite City Chevrolet, Buy American. Gerard Fisher, American Family Insurance, all your protection under one roof.